let's switch gears here for a second, guys, just real quickly, or maybe not so quickly, because I might need to really camp out on this for a second, because a lot of people want to get my opinions on this, and I've been getting asked about this, in YouTube videos. I've been getting asked about this on Twitter. I even got a couple of Facebook messages and Instagram messages about it. So a lot of people want to know what I got to think about this. So for those that know, and for those that don't know, Jaron Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz isn't happening. It's been blocked by Golden Boy Promotions because Oscar de la Hoya has filed a temporary restraining order on Rick Marigan and Vergil Ortiz himself, because apparently they were going to do the Boots Ennis fight. They had agreed to do the Boots Ennis fight, and they were going to cut Golden Boy out of the deal, right? Which Oscar says is a breach of contract. So he filed a temporary restraining order, which effectively means that the fight is blocked, and the fight that boxing fans thought they were getting is not happening next, which is not to my surprise, because like I said, Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, it is the most overrated fight in boxing, and Vergil Ortiz's team is a big part of that. They can't get on one accord. The promoter is suing the manager. So look, if I'm Team Ennis, if I'm Eddie Hearn, it's time to get proactive. You can't be sitting there waiting for Vergil. Isaac Lucero was mentioned. Go fight him. Go fight Brandon Adams. Go fight someone. Don't just sit there waiting for Vergil, because you already wasted enough time with Lima. I'm not surprised, and it is another domino falling. And what I believe the outcome of this division by the end of this year is going to be ultimately Xander Zayas with all the belts. And a lot of people hate that I say that. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but I mean, like I said, a fighter is only as good as their team, and then you have to also have a fighter who has the ambition to be great. And so the beautiful thing about Xander in his career, and they're showing the whole boxing world, Xander, Peter Khan, and Top Rank are showing the boxing world how it's done at the highest level. You got Peter Khan taking the right fights at the right time, along with Top Rank, and you got Xander Zayas, who's ready, willing, and able to step in with the best fighters available to him, right? And that's what it is. So that being said, I think Xander's gonna be undisputed at 54 by the end of this year, barring him like outgrowing the weight class. And a lot of people are going to be very, very sick. But I digress. Let's get to Boots and Vergil, because there's a lot to speak on. There's a lot to talk about. As you guys can see right here, it says right here. So we'll put it full screen for you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Okay. So Tom Brown, the fine folks at TGP Promotions, they were the ones that told Golden Boy, that told Oscar and the brain trust at Golden Boy that they were planning on doing a fight. So it says right here, and I quote, Golden Boy says that Tom Brown of TGB Promotions, the promoter of PBC events, informed them on February 11th that Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, who we know promotes Jaron Ennis, was planning the Ortiz-Ennis bout for April 18th in Las Vegas. After hearing that, Golden Boy asked for an emergency temporary restraining order against Ennis on February 11th, right? So therefore, they were trying to, Ennis and Matchroom, and you got to say Vergil too and Regan, because it takes two to tango, it takes to negotiate. But Ennis and Vergil and all parties involved, they was trying to cut Oscar out of the deal, which in Oscar's defense, right, that is a breach of contract, because if you have a promotional agreement with a promoter, you can't just cut them out of the deal when you feel like it. That's whether you love it or hate it, that's how those exclusive contracts work. If you sign with a promoter, whether it be Golden Boy, Matchroom, Top Rank, whoever, you got to negotiate in good faith alongside your promoter. You can't just cut them out the deal because you want to, and that's what was happening here. So that's why a temporary restraining order was going to happen. Now, Vergil, I think, has his career is in some deep shit. Just being honest, I feel like Boots' career is actually in a more positive state than Vergil's, because when you don't have your promoter and your manager on one accord, there's lawsuits being thrown out there, potential litigation that could take place if this shit really gets ugly. You're talking about a fighter now being stalled out of some time in his career, losing valuable time in his career. And that's never a good thing for the fighters. And when you got a fighter like Vergil Ortiz, who's exciting, that people want to see fight, that's not a good thing either. So I do feel for Vergil. I don't like that what's happened in the career of Vergil Ortiz. I'm a fan. I love watching Vergil Ortiz fight, and I'd much rather see him in the ring. So he's gonna lose some time, in my opinion. He's gonna lose some time in the ring. Really, when you get down to it, it's really funny, right? It's really funny what's happened to Vergil, because if you guys remember last year, in and around this time, Vergil was offered the fight with Xander Zayas, and it was Vergil who turned the Xander Zayas fight down and went and fought Madrimov. And I was talking about this yesterday because the clip's right here, right? He went and he fought Madrimov, and you guys know how I feel about Madrimov. If you want to accuse me of being a Madrimov hater, I will wear it loudly and proudly, because I don't really think much of Madrimov. I think Madrimov was very overrated. I think a lot of the boxing fans and the powers that be, you guys put too much stock into Madrimov because of what he did in the amateurs. He's declined since his pro debut. He's probably one of the only fighters in boxing where you can say his best win is his pro debut, and it was against Vladimir Hernandez. And ever since his pro debut, it's been a steady decline, right? So here's what I said yesterday. I said, and I quote, "Them tables have turned quick in less than a year on Vergil. Fighting Madrimov was such a waste of time. I can't believe people actually put stock into Madrimov. He just feints you to death without throwing anything of consequence. And Madrimov actually has power, right? It was Vergil telling Xander Zayas that I got bigger fish to fry. Like it was gonna do something for his career. Now look at him. Now look at Vergil. Look at him. Them tables turn quick. And now Xander is the man of the division. And now you, and I'm talking about Vergil, you might be on the shelf. And I hate to see that because I like Vergil, but you might be on the shelf. So this is what I'm saying. In this game, you gotta stay humble. You gotta stay humble at all times, because life comes at you fast. And like I said, you didn't want to fight Xander then. You fought Madrimov. You thought it would do something for you. And guess what? It did nothing for you, right? Madrimov is probably going to fight Boots next, right? I think Boots is probably going to fight a guy like Madrimov because he's fought Vergil, right? He fought Vergil so that they can compare opponents. He's been a former world champion. And people actually think Madrimov is on that level, like he's this great fighter. But he's not. And he beat Magomed Kurbanov for a vacant title. And, Boots will beat him, and people will argue about who will beat, Madrimov better, like they always do in boxing. But I can't really say, like, I don't like what's happening to Vergil, but I don't necessarily feel bad for him because I have a long memory, and I remember when Vergil told Xander Zayas, I had bigger fish to fry, like fighting Madrimov meant anything. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that when it comes to Vergil Ortiz. But anyway, let me go